Hello friends, AS20 will have 4 parts. This is the first part in which we will cover the study material questions except illustration number 7. In the other parts, we will cover PM question and one important PM question in the fourth part. Hello everyone, I hope you and your families are doing good. I am Priyanka Purohit from Shardi Samriddhi Guidance SSG. I am also a CA final student like you all. I hope you all are liking this series of accounting standards. So today we are going to start with a new accounting standard which is a very important accounting standard and many are also afraid of this accounting standard. It's the accounting standard 20 earning per share. Today I will try my best to make it easy for you to understand and also to solve it in exams. So first of all, we will look into the objectives of accounting standard 20. The objective is to prescribe the principles for determination and presentation of earnings per share, that is EPS, which will improve comparison of performance. Nextly, we will see the scope. It's applicable to enterprises whose equity shares or potential equity shares are listed on a recognized stock exchange in India. Also, it is applicable to enterprise which has equity shares or potential shares which are not listed but it wishes to disclose the EPS. So, any company which wants to disclose EPS, it has to follow accounting standard 20. Also, in consolidated financial statement, the information by this statement should be presented on the basis of consolidated information. So, in this particular accounting standard, the focus is majorly on two things. Two things will be calculated. First one being the numerator and the second one being the denominator. More focus would be given to the calculation of denominator. So instead of going through the theory part, we will now move on to the practical questions because in this particular accounting standard, practical questions will give you actual insight of this accounting standard. First of all, we will start with SM questions, that is SM illustrations. We know EPS. What is EPS? Total earnings available for equity shareholders divided by total number of equity shares give us EPS. Also, basic EPS, as we have to compute in this accounting standard, is net profit attributable to equity shareholders divided by weighted number of average number of equity shares. So, why we are taking average number of equity shares and why we are not taking either the opening equity number equity shares or the closing number of equity shares? Because if we take opening or closing number of equity shares, it will not give performance results appropriately. And also to make the data comparable, we have to take weighted average number of shares. So first of all, we will look into how to compute this denominator, that is weighted number of equity shares. Now let us look into the illustration 1. Here on 1st of January, the balance at the beginning of the year, that is the number of shares, were 1800. Then on 31st May, the company issued shares for cash 600, which makes the total number of equity shares to 2400. And on 1st of November, it buyback its shares 300 and thus the balance remaining as on the closing date was 2100. But we cannot take 2100 or 1800 for calculation of EPS. We have to first calculate the weighted number of shares. So how to calculate weighted number of shares? There can be two methods. Any one you can remember and apply in exams. Like in the first case, 1800 shares, but for how many months? Till from 1st Jan to 31st May, that is 5 months. So 1800 into 5 months, 5 by 12, and then 2400 shares were for how many months? Again 5 months, from 1st of June to say 30th of October, again 5 months. So we have multiplied by that, and the buyback of shares were from 1st of November. So the balancing figure was 2100 as on 1st of November. So from 1st of November till, since our year is from Jan to December, we will calculate November and December 2 months, and hence we will take average number of shares as 2100. Alternatively, you can find the weighted average number of shares by looking into this. 18,000 1800 shares were from 1st of January till 30th December. So we will take it for entire year. 600 were issued on 31st of May. So from June to December, that is 7 months. 600 shares are there, and on 1st of November we have sold, that is we have buyback shares 300. So 300 on 1st of November, so we have to reduce it. 300 into 2 by 12, which gives us again 2100 shares. So these are the two methods. You can follow any one method in your calculations, either this one in which you have just added it or just taken the number of shares for the period which they are held, or you can either take for whole year and then you have to minus only the buyback number of shares. Moving on to the next. On 1st of January, balance at the beginning of the year were 1800 shares of face value 10, paid up value 10. On 31st October, the company issued shares 600, face value 10, paid up value is of 5. So this is the case of partly paid shares. In here we have assumed that partly paid shares are entitled to participate in the dividend to the extent of amount paid. So we have to compute the proportionate number of shares. Had the question mentioned that the partly paid shares are also entitled to the same dividend which fully paid shares are entitled to, then we won't have multiply it by 5 by 10. That is, we won't be do the proportionate calculation. So let us look into the answer first. 1800, 600, 1st of October are the dates. So 1st of October meaning there are only, the date is 31st October. So only November and December. That is for 2 months 600 are also included. So 1800 into 12 by 12, that is 1800 will be for entire 1 year, and this 600 is here we have taken 300 because the, because here we have calculated the proportion number of shares. 600 into 5 paid up, face value was 10, so we will consider 300 shares for 2 months, and thus the weighted average number of shares would be 1850. So before moving ahead, we will first look into the date from which these equity shares are included in the weighted average. In most cases, the shares are included in the weighted average number of equity shares from the date of consideration is receivable. You can also keep this chart with you, or you can just take a screenshot of it. When equity shares are issued in exchange of shares, when the cash is receivable. When equity shares are issued as a result of conversion of debt into equity, the date of conversion is taken. When equity shares are issued in lieu of interest or principal on other financial instrument, the date on which interest ceases to accrue, the date shall be, from that date it will be included in the weighted average. If equity shares are issued in exchange for settlement of a liability, the date on which the settlement becomes effective. If equity shares are issued as a consideration for acquisition of an asset other than cash, as on the date of which acquisition is recognized. Equity shares issued for rendering services to enterprise, as on the date services are rendered. These two, 7th and 8th point, are most important because equity shares issued as a part of consideration in amalgamation in nature of purchase. So as you all know, amalgamation can be of two types, in nature of purchase and in nature of merger. In both the cases the dates are different, so you have to take a note of it. In case it is a nature of purchase, then the date of acquisition will be considered, and if it's nature of merger, then from beginning of the reporting period, because in case of merger we will won't differentiate between the two entities. Considering them to be one, we will consider it from the beginning of the year. And lastly, in case of contingently issuable equity shares, from the date on which necessary conditions under the contract have been satisfied, whether shares have been issued or not. So these are the dates which you have to remember while calculating weighted number of shares. Now let us look into illustration number 3. Net profit for the year 2016 is rupees 18 lakhs. Net profit for the year 2017 is rupees 60 lakhs. Number of equity shares outstanding until 30th September 2017 were 20 lakhs. The bonus was issued on 1st of October. The bonus issue was on 1st of October 2017 was for 2 equity shares for each equity share outstanding as on 30th September 2017. So 2 equity shares for each equity shares, that is for 20 lakhs shares were as on 30th September 2017. So the number of bonus issue would be 40 lakhs shares. 20 lakhs into 2. We have to calculate the basic earning per share. So first of all, the number of bonus issue is 20 lakhs into 2, that is 40 lakh shares. The earning per share for 2017 would be 60 lakhs was the net profit divided by the weighted average number, that is the revised number would be 20 lakhs earlier and after bonus issue 40 lakh shares. So the EPS will be 1. Now we have to calculate the adjusted earning per share for the year 2016. So we know that since bonus has been issued, we have to make adjustment for the number of equity shares. So either we can make it now or we can make it in future. But rather than making it in future, it would be more advisable and beneficial for the understanding purposes to restate the earlier EPS. Hence, we are adjusting the earlier EPS, and the adjusted earning per share for the previous year 2016 would be net profit was 18 lakhs. Earlier also 20 lakhs were the opening equity shares, and the bonus issue shares, that is 40 lakhs, would be considered in the previous year also, and thus the opening EPS would be 0.3, that is it has reduced. Earlier it was 18 lakh divided by 20 lakh. Earlier it was 18 lakh divided by 20 lakh, that is 0.09%, 0.9 rupee. Now it is reduced to 0.3 since we have included the bonus issue also. Now moving on to the next illustration. In this illustration we will deal into right issues. So the major difference between the bonus issue and rights issue is bonus shares are issued at nil, zero price, and whereas right shares are issued at a discounted price. So the net profit for year 2016 is given 11 lakhs. Net profit for the year 2017 is 15 lakhs. So 11 lakhs and 15 lakhs. And the other data given to us in the question are number of shares outstanding prior to the right issue were 5 lakh shares, and the rights share issue price was rupees 15. The last date to exercise right is 1st of March 2017. Right shares is one new share for each 5 outstanding share, that is 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 into 5 lakh, which gives us 1 lakh new shares, that is these are the number of right shares. Fair value of one equity share immediately prior to exercise of right as on 1st March 2017 was rupees 21. So 21 was the price, but the right issue, which was always at the discounted price, it is of 15. So we have to calculate the basic EPS. In case of right shares, we have to make two calculations. First, we will calculate the theoretical X right fair value per share, and then we will compute the adjustment factor. So how to compute theoretical X right fair value per share? The formula is fair value of shares immediately prior to the exercise of right. That is, in our case, it's 21 into, we have to calculate the fair value of shares, that is not per share but the total number of shares. So 21 into 5 lakh will give us the fair value of shares immediately prior to exercise right, plus the total amount received from exercise. So what is the total amount received by exercise? It's 15 into 1 lakh shares, and it will be divided by number of shares outstanding prior to exercise, which is again 5 lakh, and plus number of shares issued in exercise, so that is 1 lakh. So this is the formula which you have to remember. It's simple to understand it, and it is actually a common sense, because we have to calculate post right issue what are will be the number of shares. So the theoretical x right fair value per share we get is 20. So now we have to compute the adjustment factor. Since we have the shares were of 21 rupees, the fair value of the shares was 21 rupees, but we have issued only shares at rupees 15. So we have to adjust it. Hence we have taking computing the adjustment factor. The fair value per share prior to exercise of right was 21 and divided by the theoretical x right value per share, which we have already computed in this working note earlier, that is 20. So 21 divided by 20 will give us the adjustment factor, which is 1.05. Now this 1.05 could be used to calculate the adjusted number of equity shares. So for EPS of the previous year, that is 2016, originally it was 11 lakhs divided by 5 lakh, that is 2.2. But now we have to compute the EPS using this adjustment factor. So the EPS would be restated for the right issue. 11 lakhs net profit would remain same, just the number of share would now change, that is it will increase to 5 lakh into 1.05, this factor, which will give us 5 lakhs into 1.05, that is the number of shares would be 5,25,000, and hence the EPS will be 2.10. Similarly, for the current year, that is 2017, we will include rights issue to calculate the EPS. So the number of shares would be 5 lakh as were earlier, that will be multiplied by 1.05, that is the adjustment factor, and this was only for 2 months. How 2 months? Because in this question the net profit is for the year 2016 and 2017, that is the year is not from April to March, but it's from Jan to December, that is the calendar year 2016. So the right issue was done on 1st of March, so only 2 months have passed, that is the Jan and Feb, and hence for 2 months 5 lakh will be the number of shares for 2 months only, and we have to multiply it with the adjustment factor, and then for the remaining 10 months the number of shares would be 6 lakhs. How 6 lakh? 5 lakh plus 1 lakh right issue, thus making it 6 lakhs, and hence we calculate the weighted average number of shares, and now we will divide it by the net profit, that is net profit divided by this weighted average number of share will give us the new EPS after the issue of right shares. So now we will look into the diluted earning per share. So what is dilutive? Potential equity share should be treated as dilutive when and only when their conversion to equity shares would decrease the net profit per share from the continuing ordinary businesses. Also, it is anti-dilutive when the potentially equity shares after their conversion to equity share would increase earning per share from the continuing ordinary activities or decrease loss per share from the continuing ordinary activities. The effect of anti-dilutive potential equity shares are ignored in calculating diluted earning per share. So for the purpose of calculating diluted earning per share, the net profit or loss for the period attributable to equity shareholders and the weighted average number of shares outstanding during the period should be adjusted for the effects of all dilutive potential equity shares. So we will first know what are these dilutive or the potential equity shares. So some examples are conversion of debentures into equity shares, conversion of preference shares into equity shares, conversion of term loan into equity shares. Also, issue of ESOPs is also a dilutive potential equity share. Also, for the purpose of calculating diluted earning per share, the net profit or loss for the period attributable to equity shareholders should be adjusted for following 3 points. Any dividend on dilutive potential equity shares which have been deducted in arriving at the net profit attributable to the equity share. Interest recognized in the period for dilutive equity potential shares, and any changes in expense or income that would result from conversion of dilutive potential equity shares. So we will look into better understanding by solving a particular question for diluted earning per share. Let's look into question number 5. The net profit for the current year was rupees 1 crore. Number of equity shares outstanding were 50 lakhs. The basic earning per share would be 2. How? 1 crore divided by 50 lakhs. That will give us basic earning per share of rupees 2. Now, number of 12% convertible debentures are of 100 rupees, which are, this is the number of debentures. So it is 1 lakh. 1 lakh convertible debentures are there. Each debenture is convertible into 10 equity shares. So the number will be 1 lakh into 10, that is 10 lakh equity shares. Interest expense for the current year was 12 lakhs. Tax relating to interest expense 30% is 3,60,000. So now we should know that after this convertible debentures are converted into equity shares, we won't be required to pay them interest on this 12% on debentures. So this will be our saving, but the tax shield, that is interest, would be our expense now. So we have to minus this figure from the interest expense. So we have to calculate the diluted earning per share. The adjusted net profit for the current year would be 1 crore as given in the question, plus 12 lakhs, which will be saved now. But on this, the tax shield of 30%, that is 3,60,000, won't be available from now on when the debentures are converted into equity. So we have to deduct it. So 1 lakh plus 12 lakh minus 360 will give us the adjusted net profit as 1 crore 8 lakhs 40,000. And the number of equity shares resulting from conversion of debentures would be 10 lakhs. How 10 lakhs? This 1 lakh debentures into 10 equity shares. So 1 lakh into 10 will give us 10,000, 10 lakh equity shares. So the total number of equity shares after such conversion would be 50 lakhs as were earlier outstanding, plus the 10 lakhs, which give us the total number of equity shares as 60 lakhs. So we will compute the diluted earning per share, which is again the revised earnings, that is 1 crore 8 lakhs 40,000 divided by the revised number of equity share, that is 60 lakhs. Thus the diluted earning per share would be 1.81. So see, earlier the EPS was 2, now it has diluted, that is it has decreased to 1.81. Now move forward to number 6. Net profit for the year was 12 lakhs. Weighted average number of equity shares outstanding during the year 2017 were 5 lakhs. So the average, also the average fair value of one equity share during the year 2017 is given rupees 20. Weighted average number of the shares under option is 1 lakh, and exercise price of shares under such option 15. So as we know, in options, here we can assume that options are given to employees and that the price fair value was 20 and they are given at a discounted price of rupees 15. And know that in case of options, there would be in the net profit. In case of debenture, we were saving on interest, but in case of option, there is nothing increased or decreased on the net profit. So there is a short decrease in the EPS because the numerator is not increasing, that the net profit is not increasing, but there is the denominator, that is the number of shares, would be increasing, and hence is the short diluted earning per share. Now we will compute it. Since the question is asking us to calculate both the EPS and diluted EPS, the EPS would be directly calculated as 12 lakh divided by 5 lakhs, which gives us EPS of 2.4. Let us look into the solution first. See, the net profit was of 12 lakhs, number of shares were 5 lakhs. So 12 lakh divided by 5 lakh will give us 2.4 as the basic earning per share. Now we have to calculate the diluted earning per share. For this, the number of shares under option were 1 lakh and the number of shares that would have been issued at the fair value. So here we are issuing the shares at 15 rupees, but if similar number of we have to now calculate the approximate proportionate number of shares had the shares been issued at 20. So when 15 is the issue price, 1 lakh shares are issued, we have to cross multiply and get the number of shares at fair value. So at 20 rupees fair value, we are issuing the proportion number of shares as 75,000. I hope you are getting this figure. If 15 was the price, 1 lakh were the shares. Now we have to compute if 20 is the price, what are the number of shares. So hence 75,000 is coming, and this, and now we will calculate the revised number of shares. You have to ignore this figure now, and the number of shares will be 5 lakh minus 75,000, which is 5,25,000, and this earning will not be changed, it will remain same, and hence the diluted earning per share will be 12 lakhs divided by 525 will give us 0.29. So there is a dilution. Earlier the EPS was 2.4, now it's 2.29. So here is a clear cut dilution of EPS. Thank you so much for watching. Please watch all the other parts, that is the second part, third part and the fourth part also. This is me, Priyanka Purohit, signing off. Thank you so much.